You can proceed, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Welcome to the, good evening. Welcome to the June 7th, 2023 meeting of the Daytona Beach City Commission. We're happy to have each of you with us this evening. At this time, I would like to entertain a motion to allow me to participate virtually.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. All those approved, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries, I believe, 7-0.
Correct. And Mayor, this is Ben Gross, and I know the commissioners are generally aware of why you couldn't be here tonight, and that makes their motion legitimate because there need to be extraordinary circumstances, but could you just outline why you're not present tonight? And we don't need to read the motion.
Yes, I am currently out of the country in Hungary on a economic summit representing the city of Daytona Beach. So I'm officially working remotely.
Thanks. I just wanted that for the record. I think we were generally aware that you wouldn't be able to be here tonight physically.
Okay, very well. Okay, at this time, we're happy to have everyone with us. At this time, I would ask Madam Clerk for a roll call.
Commissioner May?
Present.
Commissioner Cantu?
Here.
Commissioner Henry?
Present.
Commissioner Reed?
Here.
Commissioner Paris? Here. Commissioner Strickland?
Here.
Mayor Derek L. Henry?
Here. At this time, we will have the invocation led by Commissioner Henry, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Commissioner May. Please rise for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this opportunity to gather. We thank you for each person gathered here, and we thank you for each person in our city. We ask and pray, Heavenly Father, that you touch each one of us. Continue to heal the hearts of those who are grieving. We ask and pray, Heavenly Father, that you will heal our city, that you will help with the crime that's been going on lately. We ask and pray, Heavenly Father, that you will lift up all of our police officers as they work hard to keep our citizens and our city safe. This is the prayer we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're going to move on to item number 4, which is approval of the minutes of the May 3rd, 2023 City Commission meeting.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second, and I won't be able to call who they are, so I would trust you, Ms. LaMagna, to verify that.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those in opposition, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. At this time, we will have our agenda review. If there are any changes, our city manager will address them.
Yes, Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, item 8E, Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Fund. Commissioner Henry will be adding the following: $2,400 for the FAMU Volusia County Alumni Chapter sponsorship and table purchase, $6,000 towards the Mainland High School football uniform funds, $500 to the Florida East Coast Supersonics track program. Item 8S, Bike Week sponsorship funds, add $500 to the Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune Legal Children's Choir, Inc. for their summer music convention trip from the Bike Week funds of Commissioner Paris. And there will be a presentation during Commissioner comments by Commissioner Cantu in reference to Barracks of Hope construction project. That concludes the changes, Mayor.
Motion to approve the agenda with the said changes.
Do we have a second?
Yes. So we have a motion by
All right.
Commissioner Reed and a second by Commissioner May.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay. We're going to move on to item number 6, which is our presentation. Item 6A is a presentation from Snap Space Solution. Chad Walton, CEO of Snap Space Solutions, to present.
Okay. Okay. Good evening, everybody. A few weeks back, we had a very nice housing fair put on by Allen Chapel, Mid-Florida Housing, et cetera, all the corporations involved with that. Miss Lucy Desmore was a key figure in that. So we've been speaking as a joint commission about affordable housing, different ways that we can bring this to the forefront. Commissioner Henry's been bringing this for many years. So now we're actually at a space where we've tried a tiny home, a small footprint home. And this time I thought that I would bring a container home. So I'd very much like to have a conversation, discussion, presentation by Mr. Chad Walton. Please come up, sir. Tell us who you are. And I would also like to add that the response by the community was fantastic, both for the small footprint home, container home as well, and hopefully we have some people who are intrigued enough to want to take this a step forward. So thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Commissioner, for allowing us this chance to tell a little bit more about our company and about what we do. My name is Chad Walton. I'm the founder and CEO of Snap Space Solutions, and I also flew in this guy way older than I am, my COO, Dexter Goldthwait. Flew him down from our Delaware office because since the housing fair, Commissioner, you know, it's been a great response. We've been very thankful for the response, the positive response, and the questions and the meetings and such. So what I'd like to do tonight is what I know some of you that have been through it, had a chance to look at the tiny home and look at it. I want to show you the company behind the tiny home, because the tiny home is just one small little piece of the ability that we have behind it to present to help with the affordable housing and the workforce housing, because I know it's a big issue, and we come up with some models that can help with that a lot. So one of the things I wanted to say is that I started this in 2005 when Hurricane Katrina wiped out New Orleans. That's what started it. In 2011, I bought the first manufacturing facility. It's 126,000 square feet, because everything we deal with is the size of a trailer truck. So we needed room to do that. Some of our customers are FEMA, Department of Defense, General Dynamics, Portsmouth Naval Shipyard, and we literally have these around the world. We've got them in Saipan, which is just north of Guam, for FEMA. We've got them in Canada. We've got them down in Big Pine Key down in the Florida Keys. We've got them in Mexico, in the Cayman Islands. We even have one in Iceland. So we do literally have these around the world. They're shipping containers. They're meant to go around the world, ship around the world. But since the first of the year, our focus has been, because of the dire need of affordable housing, it's on affordable housing. But this is the, like Paul Harvey used to say, now for the rest of the story. So this is, I wanted to introduce our company and the capabilities of it, and you know, what we can actually produce. So this first, and you've heard that old saying, a picture's worth 1,000 words. So these pictures that you see are products that we have built, all of them. This first one is the incubator retail spaces. This was built on site in 4 hours. Here's a picture of the inside of it. This one we just finished is for the Seneca Nation. It's a cannabis store, and you see the big their casino right behind us, and upstairs the Niagara Falls. And you see the inside of it. The inside of it, they don't need to be just one single little narrow shipping container. These are the ones that went to Saipan. It's for FEMA. They're commercial restrooms. It's for school system. You see the inside of them right here. They want something bulletproof. And stainless steel is, you know, it's easy to keep clean, and it is literally bulletproof for the schools. They were so pleased with the quality of what came, that this was supposed to be just temporary bathrooms for the school system to get the school system rebuilt. The quality was so far above what they expected that they changed their plans, and these became permanent restrooms. So, and also we were able to complete them, to build them and ship them, and we shipped them to the big Russian aircraft carrier, the Antonov. We actually flew them there, and their timeline should have been like this. Well, as government goes, it squeezed it to this. We're about the only company in the country that could build these on time and get them there on time, because they had to get the kids back in school so the parents could get back to work after that typhoon wiped it out. Also, this picture right here, the top right one, is for Live Nation. It's a big entertainment venue. It started out with a blank pier that morning. At the end of the day, it was all the structures are there as you see it. The bottom picture, that curved wall, is the only curved wall shipping container in the world that I'm aware of. Now, if you've seen shipping containers, there's no curved walls. They're square. They're like, you know, like a square box. So here's another one that was for Live Nation, which is the largest entertainment venue in the world. This is how complete we ship our products, just like the tiny house that y'all have been in, some of you have been in. You can see this kitchen one, the fryer laters are in, the pizza oven's in, the hood system, everything, it's complete. And here it is all put together. We started on a Wednesday morning. Thursday morning, they're test cooking it, and there's six containers with walk-in coolers, freezers, and such. And their goal was to serve 18,000 people 3 times a night at this concert venue. Wednesday we started, Thursday they're test cooking, Friday they had a concert and served the 18,000 people 3 times a night. This one, have y'all heard of ghost kitchens? With the pandemic, a lot of restaurants and stuff shut down, and they needed kitchens closer to where the Uber Eats guys and everything could get food to people. So these kitchens, just like this one you see right here, this one's a 40-foot one, showed up that complete. In fact, that's the same day that it got set down on site. The cook that's going to be working there was in there cooking the same day we set it down. So that's how complete they are. This is the largest beer kegerator in the world for craft beer festivals, for the the craft breweries that happen all around. Well, to help them with their business, exporting them out, they're promoting and shipping it around the world to craft beer festivals. Here's a cell phone tower. As you can see, it's all brick-sided. It doesn't even look like a shipping container at all. We built that on site in 1 day. Typically, it takes 4 months to build a cell phone tower, get the equipment there, get all wired, and get it turned on so they're making money. We did it in 7 days, and also saved them $100,000 on the specialized equipment that went into it. And we have a utility patent on that. This would fit well here in Florida, a houseboat. This one's been in multiple magazines. The interior of it is beautiful. It was built for a very, very high-end shipbuilder, third-generation shipbuilder. We were a little bit nervous about tackling it, because if you've been on some expensive ships and boats and yachts and stuff, the craftsmanship is unbelievable. So I was real pleased when the owner of the company came to us and asked us to build it for him. This house right here is in Amagansett, Long Island. This did an amazing job proving, and one of the questions that come up a lot is, do these depreciate? When you buy these, what are they worth after a few years? How do you value them? Can you get them financed? Do they appreciate or depreciate? This is 5 shipping containers plus the bump out on the side for the master bedroom expansion. As you see, it's hanging right out with no support, just hanging right out there in the air. This just sold for right before the real estate prices took off for $1.87 million. So it's great. It's great to point to and go, look, these do not depreciate. They appreciate just like regular real estate. So here's the interior of it, 17-foot high ceilings, beautiful gallery kitchen, all the glass on the end. They don't have to be little tiny, little tiny homes. Swimming pools. We can build any swimming pool, put glass in it. I worked with the city of Daytona, Del Rey for a little while, and they needed lap pools for their competitive swimmers for the high school. But it was going to cost $2.5 million to put in a lap pool for their swimmers to train in. And we quoted them, I think it was $45,000 a piece for 2 lanes for each one. They didn't end up buying them yet, but so that's, it's an application for it. This one is the tiny home that we have up here on Nova that we had over at the housing fair also. As you can see from the inside of it, it doesn't look anything like a shipping container. And it's up there on display right now. We have it there all the time. On this one, you can see the different, do any of those look like a shipping container? No. And that's the point, is the one with the wood siding is an Airbnb up in the mountains of North Carolina. The very bottom one, that was day 2 after we started on site. Day 2, you can see it is done complete. The one in the upper left is 4 shipping containers wide, but with a pitched roof on the side. The point is we can make them look like anything, whether brick siding, stucco, hardy board. They don't need to look like a shipping container. Oh, one more thing. Let me come back to this. Okay, put one of these down and run a hurricane over it or tornado over it. The worst that's going to happen is some of the facade on the siding might get ripped off, but you'll never look up and see no ceiling there. These are Shipping containers every seam is welded on them, and a weld is stronger than the steel itself, so it will never come apart. These are amazing. Medical clinics, a few years ago, we quoted 9,600 of these to CVS. We didn't end up getting the job. Medical, these right here are actually down in Florida Keys and Big Pine Key. The Keys, they're having a problem getting people down there after the Keys are wiped out. You could come down there to help put things back together, but there's no place to sleep, no place to shower. So we built bunkhouses and showers, full bathrooms and showers, so that the volunteers are coming in from the faith ministries and such had a place to stay. Okay, look real close at this one. This is news footage from the news stations of the Bahamas. Now, they were homes. The upper picture, can you tell me the one thing that's 100% intact? The shipping container. There's not even a dent in it. It's upright. The bottom picture, there's a dozen of them in there, and every one of them are 100% intact. Everything else is just rubble and debris. So if this were 2 days after, 5 days after the hurricane strikes, your house is still 100% intact. All the rest of them, you can't put the pieces back together enough to have even a covering over your head. But look at that. I mean, what do you want have your house made out of? Here's another part to it that I didn't think about until I was down in the Keys working with FEMA down there, and you guys have seen that here just in the past year, is the cost of cleanup and debris removal is unbelievable. Look at the debris in the bottom part of that picture. Look at how much debris has to be removed just to get through the streets, where the containers, if they are just took them right side up. There's no debris to remove like there is regular stick belt. And these are just some models of single container homes that we designed. They can either be stacked like apartments or condos, or freestanding like this one right here. Be freestanding. Okay, this is over in Amsterdam. I was over there in 2011. A company over there called Tempo Housing had built some student housing, and as you can see, they just stacked them up like Legos. And they had such a dire need for student housing, they stacked these all up, but they had to do it on leased land. There wasn't any land available, so they did it on leased land, knowing it was going to be temporary. Right now, if you see all of those, there were 1,000 units. Right now, they're all gone. They've all been relocated now. So they were there for a little over 10 years before they relocated them. But that's the cool thing about with shipping containers, is they can be permanent or they can be temporary. Okay, with this one, the ones that you just saw with the stacked apartments and everything, this is how they go together. This is how quickly you can build an apartment complex or condos or such. For a 24 unit, we can build on site once the groundwork is done and the concrete is done, like you see in this video, in 3 days. And in 7 days, you can turn the keys over to your tenants. It's just how easy they go up. This is the reality of it and just like that, there you go. Beautiful looking. Sure.
You've driven around Daytona Beach. Is this a viable alternative for us? Not solution, but a viable addition to our affordable housing situation?
The models that I've been working with a few different people, we've come up with some models that make it very affordable. And I know one of the areas is for a first-time buyer to be able to actually buy their home and own their own home, and yes, they are.
And what if it's a family with maybe, 2 kids? How can we reconfigure it? How do we make that work for a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom or something like this?
We've got some flyers, I think you have them, but we can do 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom. They're Legos, so we can either add them beside each other or stack them 2-story for as big as you need.
Product that you had out in Allen Chapel, the one that we all saw as a community, right?
Yeah.
Said it was a 1-bedroom with a shower and a full kitchen, et cetera. What would that run, roughly?
It would run in the 50s, like 50-some thousand.
Okay, so
That
I
comes
could...
with the HVAC and kitchen all-in appliance.
With the floors as well?
Yeah.
So the floors, the appliances, and no bed, that I would put in myself. But the key, okay. And then what if I wanted siding? Because what if we don't want to look at metal structures, but we want an outside? If it's 55, let's say now, let's even say 60, how much am I looking at for siding or whatever the finish is?
I'm going to say between 5,000 and 6,500, depending on what type of siding you would decide.
Sir, could you come to the microphone, please?
Sorry about that. I would say between 5,000 and 6,500 extra, depending
Okay.
on what you actually picked out for a siding.
So I'm going to overestimate. I'm going to say I'm roughly at about 70,000, a little under 7, but let's just say 70,000. So we have some areas that are in floodplains, low-lying lands. How do you address that? So do you build up? Do you put them in a base? Like, how do you make this work?
The cool thing about shipping containers is if this were a shipping container, the support for it are under the four corners. So if you put like 4 of these, one under each corner, you can set it this high, you can make it that high. In the Florida Keys, the requirement down there now is 8 feet in the air. So instead of having it like on Beach Street, if the highest level of the flood that we just had was this high, add 6-8 inches to it or a foot and set 4 of these down, you're hardly disturbing the soil. You're not causing a problem with impervious surface.
Is the water going underneath?
It can, yeah.
But a model in action where that's been done. It's been raised up, the water goes through, so we're not creating more hardscapes.
Not yet, but I'd love to put one right here in Daytona somewhere so that we could prove it out and show you.
Okay.
But it is that simple, just support it on the four corners.
So what I'm hearing is I can get a mortgage, I can get flood insurance, hurricane insurance, wind mitigation, all the bells and whistles, Florida building code standards.
Yep.
It is approved by all of that, and I can definitely get insurance for this.
Yes.
Okay, what's resale like? I'm curious.
Well, the only one that I know of right now that I have the numbers for is that one on Long Island. It sold for almost $2 million, obviously the upper end one, but they definitely hold their value.
Okay, and then as a city, what would if I wanted to do this, let's say I had a piece of land, I own the land, what would I have to do to prepare the land for you to come on board?
Put 4 of these in it.
Okay, so that's up to the owner to put those down?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
we're the manufacturer. We're not licensed or insured to work on site, but we work with the general contractors, with the crane companies, with all of them to make sure that it's all
Yeah.
set.
And from your experience, is it easier to do it on a piece of property that already exists and you're tearing down existing property, or to take land that's just land that hasn't been used yet? What's easier, better, quicker? For the connection and the cost of connecting?
Well, you all know better than I do the timing on going from a piece of like wooded land like we see to having through all the permitting, the site plan approval and all that to get it there. So myself, if I wanted to fast track it, I find a piece of land that there was a house on, or better than that, a mobile home on, because the driveway's in, the utilities are all in. Then all you have to do is put down the corner supports for the shipping container home and set it on it, and you're in business like that. Yep.
Okay, so I guess what I would like to know is do we have any questions? Do you guys have questions? Sorry.
I have a question for the manager, or Mr. Gross. Would we have to change any of our rules and regulations to make it possible to use these on infill lots? As far as the rules, the regulations, as far as what we have, would we have to change anything to make it legal?
These are currently allowed in our community. It would just be a zoning issue of where it can be done. But this particular product could be done here in Daytona Beach. I
On
know
any vacant lot,
No,
whether it's
not on
east side or west side?
Not on any vacant lot. It depends on the zoning. But Mr. Morris, if you want to share the information relative to our LDCs.
Jim Morris, Jim Chadwell.
The answer to the question is that they could be put there. The minimum square footage standard is what we really have to deal with. From a building code perspective, they are buildable. It's minimum square footage standards that would need to be modified in some cases, or you can build 2 or 3 or 4 together, as he's explained in his, I was listening in the back of the presentation. So you can meet minimum square footage by combining, or if there's a place that you think it's appropriate We could reduce square footage if it's freestanding. As far as apartments and so on go, we do have typically smaller square footage requirements for multifamily structures than we do for single-family structures. Those, it's square footage requirement, those are variable and tailorable depending on the circumstances.
And if I can add, if the units were dedicated as affordable housing and they were located in areas designed for commercial or industrial uses, the city commission would have the authority to reduce the minimum square footage requirements for those houses so long as there was a restrictive covenant recorded requiring their use as affordable housing for a period of years.
That probably hits another dimension of the question that I probably don't want to try to go to now because that's a fairly complicated subject, but I think that's also possible. The answer to your question is there are some changes in square footage, but from a structural perspective, the adopted 2023 building code permits the activity with foundations and appropriate securing to the foundation for uplift and those kind of things. So it's really the foundational stuff from a structural perspective of the metal box, if you will. It's strong and it holds up the way it's built. They're actually built, when you consider their original purpose, they actually serve as structural members when they're shipping because they're stacked one on top of another and heavily loaded. They are strong enough. It's the attachment to the ground and how you handle wiring and exterior surfaces. Fair enough? Yes. Thank you.
I have one question on this. Where we build these complete, does Daytona accept and recognize third-party inspections on these? From a certified third-party inspector, yes.
We have the opportunity in our code provisions to allow third-party inspectors if they're properly certified and obtained, so they'd be reviewed and accepted, but after that, you could have third-party inspections.
I have one more question about cost, which I missed. What is the cost, sorry, sir, what is the cost of the pylons to actually put them on? Oh, is that part of the sale or is that something extra?
That'd be something extra because that is going to depend on the location and the site,
Okay.
how deep they have to go, how big they have to go. If we're putting multiples like 4 on, 4 together for one home, the corner ones are smaller than where the 2 come together, and you have to have a bigger one there.
Okay, all right, thank you.
But it's so much cheaper than doing a whole concrete slab because you just have, you've just got the concrete there. You don't have the volume that you do, so there's quite a cost savings there. Plus, with these, you don't have to fill up and compact and fill up with the volume of fill to get to the height that you need to. Where these, it's just the concrete, so it saves you a lot of money.
Hi, I have a question about financing and insurance. You just said that they can be financed and
Yes.
it can be insured because when I went to the Midtown Fair, housing fair, everyone I spoke to said they've never insured them and they've never given any financing. So do you have new information on that?
We've worked with Chase, with a number of credit unions, with we haven't had any problem with financing. Insurance has been absolutely no issue with anybody yet that
You've
we've
had
run into.
Single containers that have been built and sold in Florida and people have been able to get financing and insurance on them?
Outside of Florida.
Outside of
We're
Florida.
new, like Daytona. I'm looking for a location for a factory here in Daytona. We've got 5 locations capacity. We've got 2 in Maine, 2 in Connecticut, 1 in Providence, Rhode Island, 1 in Somerville, South Carolina, and then my home here in Daytona. We want to build a facility here to build them right here. So we're kind of new here, except for the Florida Keys, and I was from Monroe County Long-Term Recovery Group. We've got an office down in by Homestead, Florida. I don't know how they didn't finance it. They just wrote a check. I don't know how they insured it, but
So
we have not.
Chase Manhattan, or I guess Chase Bank will give financing on a single container if somebody wants to buy a home,
This one was a 4-container one they did.
4 container.
Yeah.
I will say, Commissioner Paris, that it probably is because there is a container home in Polk County in the city of Lakeland that is up, as well as the city of Lakeland's elected officials just approved how they can put shipping containers in their cities, and they're throughout their city now, coming up.
Polk County.
City of Lakeland.
City of
I think we have the
okay.
information. I'll forward it to you, but they do have a container in Lakeland in Polk County.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any other questions?
I guess what I would like to know from the commission is, can we ask staff if they would like to figure out how we can come up with some sort of partnership, public-private partnership, something that we can say we can work with you to see if we can maybe have I always imagine a little test village of different types of housing units that people could maybe live in or try. We kind of see how it goes. But do we have any desire as a commission to ask staff to give us some leadership on that?
I wouldn't be opposed if we find private funding.
You're saying a test village.
I just like to see an opportunity where we can at least put up 1 or 2 units. We have the idea that we're kind of just thinking about was we have some land, we have some lots, let's say that the city owns, and maybe we use the lots and we put we'll put a container or 2 on the lot, and we kind of check to see how that goes. And maybe even use it for rentals or purchase.
Okay.
Just for the benefit of the commission, whether we were to do a formal P3 partnership program under state statute or to rely on our own procurement policies, we would in all likelihood need to go through some sort of competitive solicitation process.
But before that, just has to be, is this something that the commission is interested in?
Yeah,
Like,
I would be interested. Well, I'll say I would. Be.
okay.
We would be happy to partner with the city also on either a lease on the equipment, or if we can donate a portion of something to help get it started for, especially aiming for the affordable, because the affordable housing thing, it's going to get correct. Somebody's going to figure out, somebody's going to fix it. So either we can here in Daytona or somebody else somewhere is going to, but the affordable thing, the affordable housing and workforce housing is such a dire need countrywide that it's going to happen. So we're here to do, to offer whatever we can to help it be here first. And whatever that looks like, we're wide open to it. We custom build everything, so whatever works best for the site or for whatever it is, we're open, we'll do it.
Are there other companies that do what you do?
Well, there's one other one in Texas that I know of.
Oh, okay, 'cause that's what our.
Many have
referring
tried.
To an RFP, to be competitive, that we couldn't just give it to you. We'd have to see what the best offer was if we wanted to move forward.
We do quite a few with municipalities are sole sourced. Because a lot of most of these are done on site. People drop a shipping container on site and then start building it. Well, that's not efficient. There are a lot of drawbacks to it, and if you haven't worked with shipping containers before, they're not rocket science, but there's so many idiosyncrasies to it that they'll have an expensive education. I know some contractors have done it that said, I don't want to go anywhere near one again. There's a learning curve with that. And like I said, we've been at this since 2005, so we've had some expensive learning curves, and hopefully we got most of them behind us. But like I said, we're one of 2 in the entire United States, and the other one's in Texas that I'm aware of.
Okay. I concur with Commissioner Parrish in regards to the funding, but I definitely would be interested in moving forward.
Mr. Morse, could you address about moving forward, what would need to be done?
Well, staff will take a look at this particular item if you all direct us, and I will assign someone to it. There is also a company in the city of Lakeland, Swears, that does these type of projects as well. So if the commissioners make a consensus, I will make sure that the appropriate staff member will look at this, and we will bring a proposal back to you all.
Hold it. Before we move forward with that, I want to say I have certainly been in favor of having these as a use in our city, and I think that Commissioner May is accurate in the idea that we should find some sort of way to make it a test run. And I think if staff were to identify perhaps a property that we, as the city owned, maybe even a lot that you could do 2 or 4 on, I envision it sort of where you would do it in a sense that it might be like a set of duplexes, but preferably 4, And I don't think that two would be adequate, but I think we should leave that to staff. And funding, when you look at something of that nature, you're saying that the funding could be, say, 250, 300,000, maybe to do four. Certainly something that, you know, you could make some contribution from the city using ARPA funds if you would like, Commissioner May. I've heard our colleagues say that their appetite is that it have private funding, but it could be conceivable that you would see if you could ascertain a buyer, someone who's interested, who's looking for affordable housing to own. So I think that the idea of a test run is a good idea, but our colleagues have said we should try to find private funding first. And I'm just saying that I think seed money using ARPA funds is appropriate. Not saying the whole thing, even if it's 25 or 30,000 or something to help ignite the process. And maybe that might be something that you could even work with staff on. But it's no secret that I want to see us try this. But I'm going to digress for just a moment because we're trying to create a menu, but I don't think that it's really fair for us to do this before we hear from staff about the solutions that we've been waiting on. And so, because we're waiting on them to bring us a menu of things, and a part of that will conceivably help us to be able to fund some affordable housing. But we have not received that, and so I will leave that to the city manager and staff to come back to us with that information, because we're beyond what I believe is time for us to have heard regarding what we can do. And so I would leave it at that. But my idea is, I believe that a test run would be good, but I'm not supportive of a test run until after we've heard from staff regarding how, what our total menu would be or could be. Because we're bringing a menu or a prescription to the table without all of the cards laid on the table, so to speak. But this is one that I think should certainly be one that we try. Does that resonate with understanding?
Yes, it does, Mr. May. Thank you so much for your comments on that. I also want to add that the potential of people being ready to purchase is there. Mid-Florida Housing most likely has clients who are ready to kind of be involved in any projects, regardless of what the product is. We have people waiting, approved, everything's ready to go. They're just waiting for a unit, a home that they can have of their own. Thank you.
Okay.
Excuse me, would it help the city in any way? Like if we did it as if we did it ourselves, would that help?
Would it help in what way?
Would it help?
What's the question?
Like if we did it,
If you-
if Snap Space did one to present to the city and say, like here's something that's available for affordable housing, would that help? And I don't know what that would look like going through, with city property, if there's some city, I don't know what that would look like, but we're open to try it because, like I said, we're here to try to help solve this problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Hey, I'm willing to put my money where my mouth,
Commi-
my money where my mouth is, yeah. Or the reverse.
Commissioner Reed? Yes, sir. Could you turn your mic on?
Sorry.
I can't hear anything if there's no mic.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. The question was, if we donated the land, would he donate one of those homes to us? And he said yes.
Well, I would jump on that personally, and I would be supportive of it. But I would also say that staff, you're behind on delivering us what our options are.
All right.
Because to me, we're moving forward without the full menu of options. Although I am in agreement that this is a reasonable option.
All right, we'll turn it over to staff, and
Okay.
we'll definitely be inclusive of SNAP Space Solutions.
Okay.
Thank you all so much.
Okay.
For giving us a chance to introduce the company, and hopefully we can help out. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Commissioner May, for overseeing and making certain that this came before the commission tonight. I think it was a healthy discussion and a great presentation.
Okay. So we're going to move on to item number 7, which is citizen comments. And during this time, citizens have the opportunity to address the city commission on any item on the consent agenda. And I have one speaker, Mr. Frederick Brown.
Frederick Brown, 1508 Crescent Ridge. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for being a remote citizen that now knows what it's like when the microphone's not on. Yeah, there's a few items in here. We discussed it previously. It's on 8B. I really see this as a sweetheart deal for one rate company from South Florida. The value of the property when combined with the other property is going to be, I looked at this property values per square foot, and I just see this as a sweetheart deal for them. The city's essentially giving this land away or selling it at a discount with the promise, without a guarantee, that they would build an office building there. There's no guarantee to any of that. They could just turn around and flip it and take their profit and run. So I'm concerned about that. We're also talking about trying to do some affordable housing, and yet we're selling city properties at discount prices. On item HA, I'm glad to see that we're putting waterproof flooring because that place will flood again. My only concern on that is that we're only putting in 5 millimeter versus 8 millimeter. I don't know if any of the commission or staff has reviewed that for its structural durability in a high traffic zone, but that is on the thinner side. So I do have my concerns with that. Once you put that type of flooring down, it's very expensive and difficult to remove to replace. On items 8O and item P, I realize that all we're discussing in here is the utilities of water and sewer. There's no discussion on stormwater. I think, again, there's an opportunity missed here. Now, if you studied any of what happened to Daytona and what's going to happen with all the development in the Northwest, this corridor is going to become very crucial to that. Now, we set aside the money for doing the utilities for water and wastewater, but nothing for stormwater, and I'm very concerned about that. I do wish that we would take this opportunity to add stormwater to the equation. Thank you.
Okay. That was my only speaker for the consent agenda, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and assume a second.
Yes.
All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, so we're going to move on to item number 9, which is our public hearings. Item 9A is Growth Management Planning Department, Tomoka Town Center Large-Scale Comprehensive Plan Amendment. This is an ordinance on second reading public hearing. An ordinance adopting large-scale comprehensive plan amendment in accordance with Chapter 163, Part 2 Florida statutes, amending the future land use amending the future land use element Neighborhood S development policy with respect to the maximum square footage of non-residential development for approximately 69.6 plus or minus acres of property generally located southwest of the intersection of Cornerstone Boulevard and Williamson Boulevard, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and it is requested that this item be continued to the June 21st, 2023 regular City Commission meeting at 6 p.m. at City Hall.
Second.
All right, we have a motion from Commissioner Strickland and a second from Commissioner Cantu. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those in opposition, the same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay. We're going to move on to item 9B. It's Growth Management and Planning Department, Third Amendment to Tomoka Town Center Plan Development Agreement. This is an ordinance on second reading, quasi-judicial hearing. An ordinance approving the Third Amendment to Tomoka Town Center Plan District Agreement relating to development and use of approximately 118 acres of property generally located east of Interstate 95 and south of LPGA Boulevard, west of Williamson Boulevard, to increase the maximum non-residential square footage permitted within specific areas of the property, subject to conditions, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the Second Amendment to the agreement. And it is requested that this item be continued until the June 21st, 2023 regular city commission meeting at 6 p.m. at City Hall.
So moved. Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those in opposition, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay. We're going to move on to item 9C. It's Growth Management and Planning Department, amended and restated Williamson LPGA Fast Food Proportionate Fair Share Agreement. This is a resolution public hearing. A resolution approving the amended and restated Williamson LPGA Fast Food Proportionate Share Agreement between the city, JRN Inc., the developer, and the County of Volusia, providing for the developer to pay a proportionate share contribution to Volusia County in relation to the development of 3,137 square feet of non-residential use on a parcel of land generally located northeast of the intersection of Williamson Boulevard and LPGA Boulevard, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the agreement and providing an effective date.
So move.
I only heard I have a motion and a second.
We do, yes. I have,
Okay. I have a motion and a second.
and
we
I
have any-
do have Miss Jessica Gow here on behalf of the applicant for any questions.
Do we have any questions of Ms. Gow? All right, no questions. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those in opposition, same sign. This motion carries 7-0.
Okay. Moving on to item 9D, it's a Growth Management Planning Department, Tomoka Village South Proportionate Fair Share Agreement. This is a resolution public hearing. A resolution approving the Tomoka Village South Proportionate Share Master Parent Tract Agreement between the city, CREGS Tomoka Village South JV LLC, the developer, and the County of Volusia, providing for the developer to pay a proportionate share contribution to Volusia County in relation to the maximum of 690 residential units and the development of 54,300 square feet of non-residential uses on a parcel of land generally located northeast of the intersection of LPGA Boulevard and Williamson Boulevard, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the agreement and providing an effective date.
So move.
We have a motion and I assume a second.
Yes, we had a motion from Commissioner Cantu and a second from Commissioner May. And I
Okay.
do have Ms. Jessica Gow here on behalf of the applicant for any questions.
Okay. No questions for Ms. Gow? And all those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay. Moving on to item 9E, the Growth Management and Planning Department, Karis Cold Storage Proportionate Fair Share Agreement. This is a resolution public hearing. A resolution approving the Karis Cold Storage Proportionate Share Agreement between the city, KCS Icebox DAB1 LLC, the developer, and the County of Volusia, providing for the developer to pay a proportionate share contribution to Volusia County in relation to the development of a 777,588 square feet of warehouse space on a parcel of land generally located northeast of the intersection of Interstate 95 and Bevel Road, State Road 400, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the agreement and providing an effective date.
So move.
All right, we have a motion and a second.
Yes.
All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, for the record, I didn't have any speakers on that. Moving on to item, let's see, 9F.
is the Public Works Department approval of the preliminary and final plat for Latitude Phase 4B. This is a resolution public hearing. A resolution approving the preliminary and final plat for the Latitude Daytona Beach Phase 4B, a single-family residential subdivision containing approximately 130 lots on 53.8 plus or minus acres, generally located at the southwest intersection of Timber Creek Road and Margaritaville Avenue, authorizing the city manager to sign the final plat and to permit recordation thereupon meeting certain conditions precedent and providing an effective date.
So move.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. All those,
And I have no
no
speakers for
comment,
this item.
no speakers? Okay. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay. Moving on to item 9G, it's a Public Works approval of the preliminary and final plat for Tomoka Village South subdivision. This is a resolution public hearing. A resolution approving the preliminary and final plat for the Tomoka Village South subdivision, a mixed-use subdivision containing approximately 9 lots on 118 plus or minus acres, generally located at the northwest quadrant of the LPJ Boulevard and Clyde Morris Boulevard intersection, authorizing the city manager to sign the final plat and permit recordation thereupon meeting certain conditions precedent and providing an effective date.
So move.
All right, we have a motion and a second.
I don't have
Do we have any,
any speakers. I do have Ms. Gow here for any questions.
do we have any questions for Ms. Gow? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. This motion carries 7-0.
Okay. We're going to move on to item number 10, which is our administrative items. Item 10A is the Growth Management and Planning Department, First Amendment to the Buc-ee's PDG rezoning. This is an introduction of an ordinance on first reading. An ordinance approving the First Amendment to the Buc-ee's Plan District Agreement to allow for development of a monument sign with electronic message center gas prices at 2330 Gateway North Drive, Buc-ee's gas station, including off-site advertising for the proposed Buc-ee's car wash at 1610 Technology Boulevard, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the First Amendment, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date. And are there any questions or comments from the City Commission on this item? Okay, the public hearing and final action is set for June 21st. Moving on to item 10B, it's a Growth Management and Planning Department, Third Amendment to the Clyde Morris Boulevard Industrial PD to modify allowable multifamily signage. This is an introduction of an ordinance on first reading. An ordinance approving the Third Amendment to Clyde Morris Boulevard Industrial Plan District Agreement to modify allowable multifamily signage, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the Third Amendment, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date. And are there any questions or comments from the commission on this item? Okay. The public hearing and final action is June 21st. Moving on to item 10C is a Growth Management and Planning Department, Kimco Fashion's Fashion Show Special Event. This is a resolution. A resolution approving the temporary outside activities associated with the festival located at 551 Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune Boulevard, including a fashion show, itinerant vending of retail clothing and jewelry items, food and beverages, including alcohol sales, and a DJ, in accordance with Section 5.4.C.11 of the Land Development Code, establishing conditions, providing for violations and enforcement, and providing an effective date.
So moved.
We have a motion?
Commissioner Reed and
Cantu, you want a second?
Commissioner Cantu was a second.
Okay, very well. We have a motion, we have a second.
And I have no
All
speakers.
those in and do we have any speakers?
No, I don't have any speakers on this item.
Okay, very well. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those who are opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay. And Mr. Mayor, that was the last agenda item on our agenda.
Did we have a discussion item from Commissioner Cantu?
Yes, that was going to be during commissioner comments.
Commission comments, yes.
Okay, well, we'll get there. I guess when we get around to her, she'll be second.
Okay.
We'll start our commission comments with Commissioner May.
To share with the commission that I've had some telephone calls so far with regard to potential development on beachside along the Silver Beach area. As yet, it's still in the planning process, meaning it's at planning board, I believe, at this time. But I do want residents to realize that I am paying attention to it, and please continue contacting me with your comments as this moves forward. I will say that this upcoming weekend, last year, the city was kind enough to provide the Filipino American Association with a day of their own. It was June 12th. It's called the Kalayaan Festival, Independence Day. And so they will be having a festival again at Midtown Cultural Center starting at 1:30 of cultural dancing, cultural events. In fact, I believe the group won the parade this year. In the Christmas parade. They were the group who did the festive dancing. So they're having an entire day of festivities. It's open to the public. Please come and watch and attend and support them. Apart from that, I would say that I've also had some people call me about an increase in foot traffic, increase in homeless in the community. And I was just curious if you've seen that in your areas as well, along the Ridgewood corridor and then along the beachside area. If you've seen anything like that, please let me know. And thank you so much for entertaining the concept of the affordable housing possible solutions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Commissioner Cantu?
Yes, I have a few things. First, I would like to say I received an email. I believe the clerk has sent that email over. The Holly Hill passed a resolution supporting the Mason Avenue project, Phase 1 and Phase 2. Did everyone receive that? So I'm very pleased about that. The next thing I want to talk about, I represent for Daytona on the TPO, and we have been going over our budget here. And when I was looking at the budget, I see that Daytona is losing money. Our population for the budget is 66,267 residents. And I couldn't figure out why they have us down when I believe, what was our population? 78, almost 79, I believe. And so I talked to Andy. He was not aware of it, Mr. Holmes. And so I went to Colleen, and she explained that our bylaws are every 5 years. And so they have been going by the 2010 census, and to update it, they go by the BBER and get their population estimate. And I am going back at the next TPO and asking them to amend the bylaws. I do not think I will have any problem getting that done by the board on the TPO, but I would like a letter of support from this commission amending those bylaws maybe to every year or to every 2 years with the population growth that all the cities are having right now. So I could get a...
Okay. We would entertain a motion to support the resolution as outlined by Commissioner Cantu.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any comments from the public?
No.
Okay,
But
no comments
Commissioner
from the...
Pierce has a question.
What
Okay.
numbers would you be using for the population?
Well, that's something after they change the bylaws. They'll probably go back, I'm guessing, I don't know that for sure, but they'll probably go back to the 2020 census.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those in opposition, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, another thing is we have a lot of apartments up on LPGA, and I would take my grandkids to school up to Holly Hill every morning, and I'm watching these young kids walking on the side of LPGA. And not only LPGA, we have Mason and Williamson, and I know it's a county road, But I would like staff to go and look at all the missing sidewalks that we are going to have after they are built out. And I have talked to the county as well, and they have agreed, because they do have money in their sidewalk fund, to agree to work with us to get those missing sidewalks put in for these children. And so I would like to see if I have support of our staff, maybe doing a bike path pedestrian master plan.
I need a motion, because I support
So
that.
moved.
Yeah, we got a motion for that.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know that we need a motion. We just need to tell the staff to do it.
Do it.
So we agree to that, yes.
Ben, do we need
Yeah,
a motion?
that's important.
If the manager were to just advise the commission that he'll get to work on that, then you don't need to take any action.
No, yeah.
don't need
No, we're advising him.
Yeah.
We're telling him he needs to do it.
Yeah, you don't need a
Yeah,
motion.
all right?
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
And he'll concur to that, right?
Yes, because she comes in every meeting for agenda prep talking about it.
Okay.
Sidewalk green. Okay, the next thing is, I know the commission has received a few emails regarding LPGA and Timber Creek Village. There's a road in LPGA Mendoza and Joel Circle. Yes, they've been having some problems since the construction. The residents on Mendoza and the residents of Joel have been talking to our staff, and everything is, they are okay what is going on. It's being addressed, but there is some misinformation on social media from people that have not been in these meetings. And I would just like staff, David Waller, Jim Morris, to address what is taking place right now.
Mayor and Commission, Jim Morris, Deputy City Manager. I'm going to answer part of the question. David Waller will fill in another part of the question. Yesterday, about 11:40 in the morning, we issued a stop work order for Tomoka Village, overall, the whole project. And the reason for that was flooding off-site from the property. I actually went out and saw storm ponds actually being backfilled by water coming off the site. And probably before 12 o'clock, I had phone calls from the developer of the apartments. We went out, we being myself and the building official, during lunch and looked at their site and lifted a part of the stop work order for the apartments. They're above grade. They're really not doing anything in relation to the water issue, which is the issue we're trying to address. On the other hand, the rest of the development further towards I-95 is under construction, and there is places where wetlands have been filled as part of a planned development process, but the drainage issues have needed to be addressed. So the stop work order stays in effect there. The developer of that part of the project was actually in the country, out of the country, called from England and talked about his efforts, put us in touch with his engineers, and we were on the phone today. When I say we, myself, Mr. Waller, Shannon Ponitz, Dennis Mrozik, Mr. Gross, maybe I'm letting somebody out, but a group of us to respond to their efforts to try and present a plan to address the concerns that we see so that we would be in the position to say to them, you can continue working when you take certain steps. Ms. Ponitz received an email this evening outlining the steps the folks would take to go through that. I think Mr. Waller and Ms. Ponitz and I have discussed that, and we think that we see a general path that they can take to begin to correct the problem, and they're taking immediate action to do that. No other work is happening on that large site where the ground is so churned up until they get this under control. So there will be communication coming from us to them, and Ms. Ponitz is working on that in the back and with Mr. Waller and myself to send a message to them that we think their plan that they have presented orally probably works. We need to see more details tomorrow, and that will be the status of it. The nature of the issue, I want to let Mr. Waller speak to in terms of connections and pipes and drainage and flow and that sort of thing.
Good evening, David Waller with the Public Works Department. Yeah, he got to the end of the race. I'll give you a little bit of background on how we got there. Essentially, there's the existing projects and the new projects, existing homeowners and the new projects had two historic flow patterns that flow the water out of the wetlands and out of those developments to LPGA and ultimately to the river. And the construction had blocked that historic flow. It's in their plan to connect it with some pipes and structures and ponds, but since that work hasn't been completed yet, it is impacting the adjacent residential areas. And as Jim had mentioned, they issued a stop work order, and it's going to get addressed, and we expect that work to happen here tail end of this week or first part of the week would be my expectation.
Well, I thank you both. I know staff has been on top of this. They've met with all the residents out there, and I couldn't say they haven't done everything possible. And if that was my house, I would have been upset as well. But you guys have been amazing out there, and I know the residents that live on the street really appreciate everything that's going on. The next thing, I really don't want to really talk about this much, but just because this has not even had a required legal meeting as well, and has not even been to the planning board. But I've had 5 different meetings with LPGA residents, and one person can spread a lot of things on social media, and it's not even the truth. But on a project out there, there's been stuff saying about a pocket park or undeveloped land on a retail property, and saying that Commissioner Cantu and Mayor Henry is pushing for the pocket park. I can personally say that I am not pushing for any pocket park. That is up to the HOA, and there's several HOAs that will be sending a letter out for me to actually give to the developer that they do not want a pocket park. So no one up here is pushing for a pocket park in LPGA. And that's all I have to say about that.
What's a pocket park?
A pocket park could be a bench, it could be a little place that, but I mean, just something small. But it's something that residents don't want, but there's been a rumor stating that we are pushing for this, and that is completely untrue. I could care less what way they went. I don't live in it.
We only gave them benefits to having a pocket park. And I wasn't aware that there was this grand pushback directed at either of us. But, you know, if they don't want a pocket park, don't have a pocket park.
So be it.
It's just that simple.
Right.
So be it.
Right.
So let it be written, so let it be done.
Okay, so my last thing, is just a little presentation. I believe regarding the Barracks of Hope construction, I believe Commissioner Reed has been out there. I'm not sure who else has been out there. Okay. Okay. The Barracks of Hope construction, and I know very well because my veteran groups, we give money to this organization that I'm a member of. But it opened at 605 North Seagrave in December of 2018. It provides housing and support to over 70 male and female veterans each year. 75% success rate moving into permanent housing. Average length of stay is 133 days. $400,000 per year to operate. Operations funded through the VA GPD program and donations. They were looking for a better location since 2019, and they applied for a VA capital grant in 2021. The VA capital grant was $1 million. The County of Volusia capital grant was $1 million. They will have 20 efficiency apartments, 2 ADA apartments, private restrooms, 2 offices, a laundry room, and common room. And here's some of the cost of the new construction up there. The agriculture, engineering construction will be $2,328,290. Furniture, fixtures, and equipment, $75,000. The total cost is $2,403,290, and funded is 200 million. Unfunded is 403,290. And what they are asking every city to make up that $400,000, if we would donate 25,000 and for a private room and bath for every veteran. I believe the city of Ormond is doing that. So I broke down the math, and that would be approximately $3,572 a piece out of our ARPA funds. And I can tell you, coming from a military family, my son was an Iraq veteran, and he did experience PTSD. When he got out and going back into civilian life, it can be hard sometimes. He actually, when he was over there, he had to have his pelvic area had to be reconstructed. He had a broken hip, and so he wasn't able to stay and had to come back into civilian life. We've seen a totally different kid, well, I can say man, when we sent him off and when he came back. And so he didn't have a career, he didn't have nothing. The VA, they get paid 100% of college fund now. So your organization helps them through Daytona State get back on their feet because, I just know how great they do. So I'm hoping that I can get funds from everybody to support this from the city of Daytona Beach.
So does this cost, is this separate from what Ormond is doing?
Yes,
And so, are we trying to get to the 403?
we're trying to get to 25,000.
Oh,
So that would be approximately $3,572.
$72. You got mine.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mine
And,
too.
and this is basically for the city to fund one room, and we get acknowledgement for supporting that. Is that correct?
Correct. And I do have Buck James here, Executive Director for Halifax Urban Ministries, if anybody has any questions.
Oh, no, I'm 100% behind it, and I'm supportive. You have my commitment of the ARPA funds. That's exactly what ARPA funds are for. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's what the county used for $1 million to help support this project was ARPA funds. This is the old Derbyshire place that's being converted, and it's a magnificent objective. And congratulations, Buck and team. So you have my commitment.
I'm in.
You're in. Commissioner Strickland.
I'm in also.
Okay, there we go.
Thank you. We have it. Well, I thank you all, and
It'll come back for approval
Buck?
in the thing, but yep.
so.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for bringing
Would
that,
you like
and
to
thanks
say
for
a few words?
including us.
Okay.
We appreciate all that you all do.
Mayor, I'm going to have Buck
Yes,
up here
ma'am.
to say a few words.
Okay.
Buck James from Halifax Urban Ministries. I want to thank all of you for your support. As you know, when we started this project right in the early, actually before COVID hit, and we got all of our estimates on what the costs were going to be, the costs went up quite a bit, and that's why you see that shortfall that we have. And one of the things about this is a one-time investment to be able to get us into that building. Right now, we're projected to be able to have a grand opening on November 10th. That's Friday. That's the day that Veterans Day will be observed. We certainly will be inviting all of you all to attend and to see the room that you've sponsored. Thank you so much for helping those that have done so much to support us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Cantu, do you have anything else?
I'm finished. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Henry?
Just one thing, and that is this weekend, Commissioner Cantu and I celebrated the veterans and gave a proclamation at the museum, and it was really nice. And then that evening, Commissioner Reed, Commissioner Paris, Commissioner Cantu, and I celebrated our 7 Veterans of the Year. what a wonderful celebration it was to celebrate those veterans. And I think we had, how many from the city? Denzel Sykes from the city this year, because we had Kim last year. So we had Denzel this year, so it was great celebrating with him, and that was a wonderful time. It is a great opportunity for the city to go out and celebrate our veterans, and you all should have been there. And we had fun. That's the end of my comments.
And who was our
All right, awesome.
Who was the best?
Commissioner Reed?
Stevie Fleet.
Mac? Yeah.
Tribute band to Fleetwood. She was actually Stevie Nicks, and she was actually good.
Yeah, she was very good. I enjoyed her.
The pretend Stevie Nicks.
All right.
She was Stevie Nicks.
She was Stevie Nicks.
Instead of Stevie Nicks, she had an M, Stevie Nicks.
Okay. She was very good. I can take that off my list. All right. I just want to share with you all that I am partnering with the Sun Chasers Motorcycle Club for a ride on prostate cancer for men. And I'll be coming back to you asking if you would consider contributing towards that, but we're in the plans of doing that. Also, the $5,000 you saw that I contributed in the, what's that first agenda? Consent agenda? That's the Turity Small. I am also giving them a book little thing. Vending machine. Yay. And then Daytona Beach. I want you to join me on Saturday evening in the Cypress Park when L.A. Robinson and his band will be there to perform. L.A. Robinson, also known as Bo Peep, is one of our very own sons, and we want to support him. So come on out, Daytona Beach. The line dancing starts at 6:30, and the band starts at 7 p.m. Meet me there. Actually, beat me there. I'll see you Saturday night. That concludes my comments, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Reed, I noticed that you gave a donation to Palm Terrace, not Palm Terrace, but Turkey.
Yes, sir. I just talked about it.
They're the Bulldogs?
They're getting a book vending machine.
That's what I was hoping.
Yes, sir.
I was asking if it was a book vending machine. Commissioner Cantu, book vending machine. Commissioner Henry, the book vending machine at Palm Terrace. Those are really one of my favorite things to see in our schools. So thank you to each of you
Thanks
for
to Commissioner
doing
Henry.
that. Yeah, really, really. Okay. And around the horn, we go to Commissioner Parrish.
Mayor, I hope you have a successful trip in Hungary and represent us well, and that's all I have for today.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And Commissioner Strickland?
I thought you forgot about me. I don't have anything tonight. Everybody have a great evening.
Okay, good. I don't have anything either. My only comment relates to my current trip, which is Budapest, Hungary. The weather is a bit wet, but we have a delegation here, as I said before, that is supporting the Hungarian summit, which was hosted in Daytona Beach last year. So I believe what they do is they come to Daytona Beach, and then they come to Budapest, and then they go to Daytona Beach. Today we toured an Audi manufacturing plant, went to a university, went to a public school, and visited with the mayor in the mayor's office. And so the trip has been great. We have a delegation that includes officials from ISC, other business folks, Stetson University, UCF, and a number of other small businesses are joining us. Keith Norton is here from Team Volusia. This is the destination that brought us Be Strong, a manufacturing company that is is also committed to building a park, outdoor fitness park in the Brown Esplanade. So and they, as I said, annually have a large delegation of folks where the Deputy Secretary of State came to Central Florida or Daytona Beach last year. And he welcomed us on Monday with great gifts, one of which is a statue that I will bring home, and well, they're going to ship it because it's too heavy for me to carry it. But we have to find a prominent place in our city to let it be displayed. And so it's been a good trip, and hopefully it will continue to be good. Tomorrow I will be the keynote speaker during a session outlining some of the benefits of doing business in our community. With that said, Ben, welcome to the fold, and hope you're enjoying that seat. And Bob, I don't know if you're listening or if you're somewhere in the Atlantic sailing away, but whatever it is that you're doing, I've said it before and I'll say it again publicly, you have been a delight to work with, and nothing but a consummate professional. From working with Jim Chisholm, who, the record always reflected that wasn't always easy for city attorneys, but you were able to really manage that, and to working with our current city attorney, who has had I think an outstanding relationship with you. And the first step in anything else, if I've asked, you have served the city of Daytona Beach well. And Ben, we know you've been with us for over 20 years, and you're just continuing the great service that you've already given us, and on to greater things. Mr. Manager, I will yield the floor if you have any comments at this time.
No comments other than to congratulate our city attorney on his upcoming retirement and selling around the rural.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. Okay, Ben, do you have any remarks?
Just to say thank you, Mayor, and thanks to Bob Jagger for doing such a great job in our office for as long as he has. And a promise to Bob that I'll try to keep up the good work.
And Bob,
all right.
I think, Mr. Mayor, Bob is in the back. We want him to come out. This is his last meeting.
Oh, he's in the back? Come on out.
Maybe he ran out.
Hopefully he did not want to come.
While he's coming, can I add $500 for the Juneteenth festival, please, to the Juneteenth committee? Thank you.
Oh, he's out here in shorts and a T-shirt, Mayor.
Hey, that's
Yes,
all good.
I was hoping not to have to come out. Actually, Ben did a good job tonight. But Mayor, thank you for those kind words. Robert Jagger for the last time as city attorney. It's been an honor serving all of you. It's certainly been one of the great highlights of my career to have worked with you and to have played a small part in everything the city has accomplished over these years. So thank you, and thank you to my staff.
I just want to add one comment, please. Thank you.
The manager knew I didn't want to come out here tonight. But y'all are in good hands with the manager and Ben, and good luck to y'all.
Thank you, Bob.
All right.
Bob.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
All right, that concludes our regular business for tonight's meeting. At this time, we will hear from the greatest residents on the planet, the citizens of Daytona Beach.
Our first speaker is John Navarra, and on deck is John Nicholson.
Okay, John Navarra, 168 Springwood Drive. First, I'd like to thank Mr. Gross for his service to the city. My father had the honor of working with Mr. Gross with the city for maybe about 3 years, I think, before his retirement. And he had very good accolades for Mr. Gross and was ecstatic that he was taking over as city attorney. So my father had given his full endorsement to Ben Gross. Thank you. And also, I have a birthday wish. It's my 59th birthday, and I hope to pledge for you to help out some of the most vulnerable people in our community. The Florida Chamber of Commerce just recently had stated that 47% of Florida third graders are not reading on grade level. And I think with all that money coming in from different developments, the tax money comes in, some of that could be used for more reading programs in our community. You could also partner with the schools. You could use the Scarlett Golden Center, City Manager Fiecher, and we went there. I saw books in that center that would be useful. And all of these investments are investments to make a better city in another 10, 20, 30 years. So I think every dollar that you would put toward reading programs are going to help students with employment, with a better quality of life, being able to afford housing, and a lot of other issues that we wish we could help our citizens with. So I encourage you to look for any way possible. I know Mr. Mayer's a former teacher, and I know that by 10th grade, we don't want to lose them by 10th grade. I still have one class of 10th graders every year, and we want to make sure that they're reading on grade level and they're able to have a good quality of life in Daytona Beach and be able to contribute to our community. So that's my birthday wish tonight, and thank you.
Thank you. Happy birthday.
And your wish came true because she just gave $5,000 for a new book vending machine.
Our next speaker is John Nicholson, and on deck is Marjorie Johnson. Okay. Our next speaker is Marjorie Johnson, and on deck is Carmen Clark. Miss Johnson, are you outside? Thank you.
Marjorie Johnson, 122 South E Street. I'm here tonight to speak about it. I went down to Fairview Avenue today to talk about the roads that need to be paved in our community. And this has been going on for years. At Doon Cookman College, heavy bumps in the middle of the road. That's Anita May and Miss Reed. That needs to be addressed. That street needs to be paved. I think it's a disgrace that all of the streets, when you came up with these streets that were going to get paved, they was one of the ones. So I went down and I met with one of the officials down there on Bellevue today. Andy wasn't there. He'll be back here Monday. So I gave him a list of the streets. Live Oak, where Miss Reed grew up, like a roller coaster. Trash outside everywhere. Division Street, same thing. This is terrible. Beach Street, same thing. South Street, where I grew up, that needs to be paved in front of Cherokee School. So I'd like for you to see you all go over there and work on that. You have a list of roads that you paved, and those roads is now on the list. I also spoke to them about putting a light right there next to the crab stop. There's a lot of accidents there that people are driving 100 miles an hour down our streets, right in front of my house. And I'm scared to go outside sometime because they're driving so fast. And I brought it up at one of the Midtown meetings that Steve Miller is having, and nothing has been done about it. You need that light there. I've even had an accident there. And I'm in my house, and you see, I'm hearing, boom! Somebody's had another accident. Right there at Keith Street, I don't care if it's close to the one on Adams Street, and then there's another one there at Krispy Kreme. We have to save lives, and we have to make sure that we have a light in the proper place. And I wanted to talk with Andy about it, but I got down there late because I go down there myself, and I got my road paved. I don't wait for nobody who don't show up at meetings to get the job done. I get out and do it myself. Also, I like to talk about the diversification of boards here in the city of Daytona Beach. And this is not happening. We have residents who have applied to serve on boards for 5, 10 years, and they have not been appointed to these boards. There was an incident where they went and appointed Mayor Paula Reed, appointed a lady from Port Orange to be on that board by the old Orange Avenue, that building that needs to be reconstructed. Don't appoint anybody from Port Orange. Get people from Daytona. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Cameron Clark, and on deck is Frederick Brown. Oh, I'm sorry, Carmen.
Good afternoon.
Is it working, guys?
Good afternoon. Okay, thank you for the presentation on SnapSpace, real awesome. Also, a question, last year, June 15, 2022, there was approval of money to be able to renovate the restroom here on the second floor. Do anybody have any idea when that's going to begin? Okay, that's gonna be counting my minutes.
No.
No,
Oh,
they-
no.
we-
I'll stop the clock.
Oh,
Sorry.
I didn't know you were here.
Department, the cost of that project actually escalated. We've got an item that'll be on the agenda in 2 weeks to authorize culvert construction to complete that work.
I'm sorry, I didn't know you were here, because I wouldn't even have, okay. I
He's
didn't,
so calm sitting there.
oh, I didn't, because I was looking for him or Mr. Holmes, I really was. Okay, so, also, I thought, oh, I wanted to ask, have you all had a hurricane preparedness event for Volusia County? Because our agency, we did a large hurricane preparedness event in Flagler County, which was very successful. We also gave away hurricane preparedness kits at that event. We had FEMA and the county was there. There were some other people there that was available to speak to the residents of Flagler County in regards of who is going to be involved, how to prepare for the hurricane, and some other items. I forgot my list. Also, we are doing an event on June the 14th at the Meeting House of Daytona, a small little hurricane preparedness event. If anybody wants to come to sit down, and it's not going to be as many people present there. It's going to be myself and 2 other people. We're going to be giving away hurricane preparedness kits to the residents there. Because of the age, we wanted them to be prepared for the hurricane also. So we're going to be giving away 80 hurricane emergency kits. So that's going to be June the 14th, time from 11 to 12:30 and 1 to 3:30. And also, the new development that's on Clyde Morris, I cannot remember the name of it, but it's across from the nursing home. Champion, is it? It's one of the, yeah, okay. There's an issue there with, because we have to go around and do a U-turn. When we leave our community, we have to go and do a U-turn on LPGA to head towards Clyde Morris and LPGA. Now, since that community is there, I don't know if they have started selling the homes, but there's a lot of traffic coming out. You have to sit there. I don't know if someone can go and monitor that, because there will have to be some type of traffic light placed there, so hopefully there won't be accidents happening there. But seriously, think about the emergency hurricane event to be brought over to Volusia County. It would be awesome.
Carmen, what's in your kits?
The kids have a radio, it has flashlight, it has batteries, it has Kleenex tissue for some reason. It has hand sanitizer, hand wipes. it has some other, it's a really nice kit. Your mom has one, if you want to look at it, yeah. Yes, I gave her one.
Ms. Clark,
Your mom has one. You can look at it.
okay, that's good. Thank you for sharing that with my mom.
Yes.
But the question is, how, I would like to get some more information on what you did, because I think we should figure a way to do something. So I'll maybe you can give me a call and we can talk about it.
Okay, yes, yeah, there was.
Okay.
Yeah, it's, yeah.
Okay.
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 And also.
And we are doing something coming up. Staff is doing some major presentations with the homeowners at Fairway Estates.
Okay, I'm done.
So maybe it's something that we can replicate in other parts of our community. And I think, and maybe we can add this, some of the kits or something of that nature to what we're doing.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Right.
All
Yes.
right. Thank you.
But June the 14th, Commissioner Henry, if you don't mind, if you are, I know you're very, very busy.
Not
but
busy
then
enough
you-
for my residents.
Okay, I
I'll
know.
be there.
Yes, and then you can see what's in the kit.
And I will say that they are working on a stand that will accommodate individuals relative to their height.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
You asked for it, they're working on it.
No, I know. I mean, I'm sorry. I am totally. I mean, you
No,
just,
we appreciate you because you help us to be able to provide for those who may have challenges. So we appreciate you.
Right, because I'm not the only person,
correct.
you know, and I appreciate that very much. So, you know, you just don't know, just every
But
day.
I do want to say, in reference to Champions Gate, which is right there,
Yeah,
that you're talking
that's-
about where it's getting extremely busy and the traffic, that was something that, thank you for bringing that up. I meant to mention that because that area has 2 exits and they're keeping the back exit gate, and I talked to the city manager about this, locked on 3rd Street. So no one can get out of that exit, so that they're only using one exit when they should have both exits open and that exit unlocked. So I would like for staff to go out and check on that.
Yes. And Mr. Strickland, our agency, we met with First Step Shelter on yesterday. Victoria, just to let you know, we appreciate her. She was very accommodating to us. We're trying to collaborate and work real well with our agency and First Step Shelter. Okay, I want to let you know that.
Thank you. And one other thing I want to mention while you're there, and we're discussing diversity. I want to say this as it relates to persons in our community with disabilities or challenges. A part of a diverse society and workforce, this has been one of the things that we've discussed here in other settings, is that we do want to be a city that not only do we meet the needs of people with disabilities, because even though we live in a society where folks are saying that you shouldn't discuss diversity issues, ensuring that people who have physical challenges or any sort of challenge has the capacity to both work and function in our city at a high level and in a way that is unimpeded by us should be one of our central objectives. And that includes making sure that they are employable by us as a city, and that we are encouraging other businesses in our community to embrace a similar mindset. And so we appreciate you, but I also think that this is something that we should take a step further by creating some sort of a statement that reflects this as a central value for our community. So thank you. And
Can I just say, I was to be appointed to the mayor's Community Alliance Disability Board, but they have not met as of yet. So I did get a phone call from Doug Hall and Ms. McGee. They called our agency and they asked for a person to be represented on that committee, and I was chose. So I'm not, that'll be something that would be great to start again, to meet and, we exchange and I appreciate you making your statement, Mayor Henry, I really do. Because we have to be, there's the American Disability Act that does talk about diversity and inclusion, no matter how others feel. It is the American Disability Act, so we have to comply.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all time.
Okay. Our next speaker is Frederick Brown, and on deck is Suzanne Odina. He passed his wait, gets to the mayor's in person.
Frederick Brown, 1508 Crescent Ridge, Daytona Beach. Ben, welcome aboard. I want to first thank Commissioners Cantu and Commissioner Henry and Commissioner Paris for attending the Veterans event at the library. It was great to have them there. I appreciate Commissioner Henry's support on getting the flagpole, and that meant a lot. It looked really good after the first year that we've had this thing open, and I look forward to future support. I also want to thank Commissioner Cantu for having a community meeting, which was fairly well attended. As she stated, oftentimes there's misinformation going around on social media, and it's important to have these kind of meetings to dispel that kind of conversation. I try to do my best to try and get accurate information anytime I post something there, but far too often there are comments made that aren't true, and that's why these meetings are very important. It's also important to answer the questions that people do bring up at the meetings as much as possible. One of the main topics I wanted to talk about today is the beach. And I realize the county has control over the beach. However, Daytona Beach, in my opinion, is the best city in all of Volusia County and should have a great deal of influence on getting the beach restored. Now, at the Veterans presentation and the concert at the band shell, and I love those programs at the band shell, and I just wish Cypress Park didn't compete with it. But there's no place to access the beach now, all the way from Daytona Grand to the south side of the Hilton. And that's a long stretch of beach. And what's happening, you got tourists coming in, not having the kind of good time they'd like to have. Granted, the beach is not what it should be right now, but there's no access to it. And they're crawling over areas that are extremely dangerous where there's still debris there. We need to put a little hurry up on this. And I've heard discussions about, well, we have to wait till the turtle season. There's no place for the turtles to nest. We need to get some staircases on various parts in there. There's no access at all from the Band Shell Park area to the beach to watch the fireworks. And I'd like to see something done there. They tore up everything, but then they just left it. The other thing, Mr. Mayor, and I trust you're still listening, we need to continue to keep flooding as a top priority in the city. Now, hopefully God will give us a blessing this year and give us a little bit of a reprieve from last year. But there's a number of projects that have been improved, and as I stated earlier, we need to take advantage of the opportunities to improve our stormwater system during this period. No, we cannot ever rest on that matter. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Suzanne Odina, and on deck is John Birch.
My name is Suzanne Odina. I live at 716 North Wild Olive, Daytona Beach. I don't mean to be rude or be pushy or what have you, and I've been told not to rock the boat, but I'd like to know what's going on with the rec center. A committee was assigned to address it, and we just had Memorial Day, we just had D-Day, 4th of July is coming. It would be nice to know that the rec center is going to be improved, going to be brought back to life, and that the people that the rec center was built for will be honored there? Can anybody answer that question?
If you contact the office, we'll provide you with an update.
I think the community would like to know an update at some point in time.
And I think we had an update a few months back. Paul alone came and spoke here and made presentation, but we'll make sure to have that for the entire community.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next speaker is John Birch, and on deck is Jenny Nazak.
Well, I had to put my hat on because I'm a blonde up brunette. Oh, praise the Lord. I'm 836 Orange Avenue, Zone 6, that I love. Now, I'm not going to beat up the mayor today because he's in where? Hungary. My brother just left Spain too, so I guess they're over there meeting about how they going. No comment. Now, what I come up here to talk about is Zone 6. Oh, talk about these houses going up in value, real estate. Where people go stay? They need to stay with the city manager where you stay. You know, people can't afford who works at where? McDonald's, Burger King, the small people. I know y'all don't think about us because we just small. So you gotta think about what we need to do. What we need to do. Is it tiny houses? Is it what they work for a living? And they can't afford. Rent is going up which way? So we need to address things that people go to the labor hall, they try to do the right thing. So you say, what am I doing? I'm trying not to do drugs, I'm trying not to sell drugs. What do I do on a what? This budget. Real estate goes here, I'm trying to do, and then you say what? What do I do? Okay? So we gotta address some heavy things about how do we address people that are trying to do the what? Right thing. So I'm not gonna beat up the mayor, I'm not gonna beat up my city, I love her now. You know, I'm getting the way I like. I like coming just to talk about the real issues. And like I said, city manager, you got a tough job. And I got some things I'm well dressed. I got 50 seconds to talk. So let me talk about the weather. The weather is beautiful in Daytona, and all the good things is happening, and I love Karma, I love her, I love this. I'm just getting aware. As you know, when you get older, you just love every day. And it's not about the bad, it's about the good and the bad. And it's not a time to all I'm saying is we got to address things that are happening with real estate is gone totally. And I just left Macon, Georgia. Macon, Georgia is just like what? D.C. The big boys done left. And now they're starving. So, you know what I mean? I don't want to see, you ain't got to worry, I'm gone. I'm gone.
Okay. Our next speaker tonight is Jenny Nazak.
Good evening, everybody. Jenny Nazak, 501 Harvey Avenue. City Manager Fiecher, I really enjoy the newsletter updates. Those are really great. Let's see, who else can I say? Oh, Commissioner Cantu, thank you so much for talking about LPGA and how it needs sidewalks and stuff. Every time I have to try to go someplace that's out that way, I either no, it's too scary, I can't get out there, or have to plot this course. How am I supposed to get out there? Do I feel rich? Can I get a taxi? My knee's not working so great, so I can't walk 9 miles anymore. But I'm actually going to a knee pain seminar at LPGA and Clyde Morris, and I'm like, how am I supposed to get out there? But there's a bus and stuff, so that's all right. But anyway, actually, I no longer have the motorcycle in my possession. It was time. I had my joy with it, and it was time. But anyway, I plan to not get killed on the way to the knee pain seminar tomorrow, because that's not the way I want to solve my knee pain. Commissioner May, thank you so much for the things you've done to bring the conversation about the container houses, the tiny houses and all that. I will take one container house stacked up on the other one in the little bitty city-owned empty lot next to my house. I will do its landscaping plan for free, because if I don't collect rainwater off of its roof, I will need to construct a pond in my yard to collect its rainwater. That site will never flood. That empty city-owned lot next to me is primo house land. It will never flood. It's 4 feet higher than my property. And I'm the queen of stormwater snagging, so never fear. Who else am I supposed to thank? Oh, Mayor Henry. Mayor Henry, thank you. I enjoyed listening to you on Dr. Durham's show when you talked about the 3 top priorities for our city, the housing, the stormwater management, and quality of life for all residents as well as visitors. And those 3 are all very interrelated. So, and thank you. Oh, thank you, David Waller, for just everything. But you're always doing good stuff. Thank you. And thank you, all of my fellow citizens. You all have a beautiful evening. And everybody I didn't mention, thank you too. Good night.
Thank you. That was, and Mayor Henry, that was our final speaker for this evening. Do you want the manager to hit the gavel?
No, I don't want the manager to hit the gavel. No.
I've been holding it for about the last 10 minutes.
I will conclude by saying that we here in Hungary, I've also noticed that there are not trash cans every step of the way, but there's very little trash. One of my favorite citizens, Miss Ruby, sent me a poster for the possibility of projecting it throughout our community. And I had a discussion today about trash here in Hungary and how there's a lack of trash, something that I will address what the mayor here does to help keep the city clean. Not so certain I will be embracing it, but I will share it upon my return. Thank you, and good night, Daytona Beach. Remain great. Look at you.